Hey guys, it's Cassandra Olivia and I'm back with another hair color tutorial. If you'd like to see how I achieve this look, then continue watching and don't forget to subscribe. So here is the unit I'm creating. I already made the unit. I'm just gonna go in and bleach this and then we're gonna color her red. She did have a side part over here, somewhere in here. I'm just gonna go ahead and switch this over to a middle part as per my client's request. And let's just go in and do this. So for this part, I already put in 5 scoops of the BW2 lightener with the little blue scoop that it comes with, and I'm just adding a 40 volume developer. I never measure when I mix color, I kind of just eyeball it. And now I'm just adding in the Olaplex just so that the hair doesn't dry out and it doesn't get easily damaged. This helps to keep the bonds in the hair nice and strong so that way when you color it and lift it, the hair still stays intact and it's not dry, raggedy feeling. And I always add a towel underneath my mannequin just so that way it doesn't shift all over the place when I'm trying to color. And right here I'm just going in using a balayage board and I'm just adding on that lightener that I just mixed up. I'm a very messy and creative stylist though, so I like the balayage board idea, but to get this process done faster and to ensure that it's saturating all the hair, I actually just ended up using my fingers. Use what God gave you. And here I'm just applying the color all over. I'm just showing you how I applied it with the board, but then you're going to see me in a few seconds switch over to just using my hands, applying the color from the ends all the way up to the root, and then I'm just going to use my fingers to blend it and to add a little bit of heat. This wig is super full, so when you're bleaching, you just have to make sure that you take your time, you're not rushing, and that you make sure everything is completely saturated. So in some spots, like as I'm splitting it open, it still looks like it's dry. I'm just going to go in and just keep applying bleach until it's completely saturated. I'm going to hit the bottom, go back over the top, split it some more, run my fingers through it, add a little bit more product because you want to make sure that there's no like dark patches. And actually, I'm irked because when you get towards the end, I missed a spot and I noticed it, but I decided to color red over it anyway, and it turned out to be a tiny bit darker, but my client was like, it's fine. But me being a stylist, I'm like, oh, I should have went back in and fixed it. And here I'm just finishing up, showing you guys how the bleach is looking. It's lighter in the back, a little bit darker at the top. So I'm just going to wrap it up in a bun and allow that hair to process. And I'm going to add on a shower cap just so that way the heat from the hair stays in one spot. And you see on the right hand side that spot that I'm talking about. Don't mind me, don't have any makeup on. And all I did so I don't mess this up, I just put plastic cap on here. I'm actually going to pin it just so that way my mannequin head does not turn red, because I did get bleach on it, but that's simply because I forgot to do this process. And you don't want your wig to move, so since this is the hole is a little bit bigger than the stand pieces, I'll just put a towel here so that way the mannequin head does not move. And I'm just going to take a pin it right in the front, and I'm going to pin the sides and the back so that way when I apply the color it does not move. Because that's the worst thing when you're trying to color a wig and it be sliding all across the room. I'm just pinning on the side. I'm going to lift this up right here where the end of this net stops. I'm pinning right there. And then I'm going to pin the back too, just so she doesn't shift. So look, since we're going to start back here anyway, I'm going to just pin this piece. Oh shoot, let me cover this up. There we go. Okay, so I might still get color on this mannequin head, but whatever, who cares? I'm going to just pin the back of this down on both sides. Bang. Overall, the bleach took really well. I noticed that it's a little bit dark in like a couple spots right here, but we're going to be coloring this red, so it really doesn't matter. They were out of the rust that I normally use, so I tried to use the Deep Shine Merlot and the red and rust. It looks like this, but they were out. So we had to improvise. So I went up the street to my local bargain world, got 2 Adore colors in the shade Ruby Red, and I also got 2 Adore colors in the shade Crimson. Just need a mixing bowl. I don't even need a whisk. I don't know why this is even over here, but a brush, and I'm gonna just grab another brush just for the other color because I don't want to mix my reds together. And I'll be right back. All I did was grab 2 more brushes here, and now I'm getting ready to apply the color. So I put the ruby red right here, crimson right here. Okay, so I'm already started applying this color because it's very easy once you get the bleach and everything done. So in the very back half from her ear down to the nape of her neck, I'm going in with the brightest color, which is the ruby red. And then on the top, I'm going to go in with the darker red, which is still bright, but it's crimson. And I'm going to go in from the ear all the way up until the lace closure. So that way it'll be a nice blend in color between the two different reds. It'll kind of transition. I'm not really going to talk too much for this part, only because it's pretty self-explanatory. As you watch, you can kind of see I'm applying the color from the end up to the root, just like how I did with the bleach. I'm just ensuring that everything's saturated. I'm running my fingers through, and the only thing with this Adore color, it is very like watery, so I had to make sure that I only applied a tiny bit at a time because it was like dripping all over the floor. I had to put towels everywhere. So that's the only thing to be aware of. This color isn't as thick as normal colors. The consistency is very watery. So for this part, I'm just showing you guys how I color the lace flawlessly without getting color on the lace. So I'm getting color very close up to the closure, and I'm going to zoom in so you can see. But right now, I'm just putting whatever color is left on the brush about an inch up from the scalp, and I'm working it down. So that way, by the time I get very close to the roots, the brush is almost dry. That way, the color's not dripping all over the lace. And this is a technique I kind of formed myself. I haven't seen anybody else do this or explain this, but I'm going to let y'all know a trade secret. So right here, you can see me doing it. So I'm starting from like an inch above the root, blending it out until my brush is almost dry. And then I'm going to just go back in and hit very lightly and softly to the very close part to the root. If I can talk, I'm very tired. It's 8 o'clock in the morning, y'all, but I'm trying to get this out. So here I am, just lightly tapping, getting as close to the root as possible. Okay, that was only a short pause. I lied. I'm very talkative. But I also wanted to mention that I'm parting this in very thin sections so that way I can make sure that the color is precise and where I want it to be. So you just have to be careful with that too. You don't want to part your closure in huge sections because that's how the color ends up leaking all throughout. Okay, so I'm all finished, and right here I'm just showing you guys how the part looks at the scalp. So as I'm parting it, you can see that you can still see the scalp. It's very bright, snow red, and anywhere I part it, it's going to be like that. Precision, baby. Let's get it, honey. Let's get it, hunty. Come through with the red. This is the last part. I wanted to show y'all the finished result. Look at her. So my hair is curly braided. It looks really crazy. I'm gonna just show, slap this on so you can see, but like this is no product on it at all. This actually matches my skin tone perfectly, but since Nicole is lighter than me, I'm gonna go ahead and put some black opal foundation just on the part, just so when she gets it, it'll match her skin perfectly. So when I did her makeup for the shoot, she was this color. What is this? Cashew. So I'm gonna go ahead and just put this right on the part. So just not too light, just a shade lighter. This is the finished product. This is how it looks. So this is the end result, guys. I did realize that there's like a dark spot in the back that's irritating me, so I am going to go back over that off camera. But thank you so much for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe.